congratulations, all three of you, on having such successful books. Why do you think this genre of I suppose, is it called uplit, or is it why do you think this is so successful at the moment?
Because the world is burning. That's why.
Yeah, things are just so grim. I think we all need a little bit of fun and light in our lives. I like thinking that anyway.
In my case, people, can't get away on holiday, or a lot of people aren't going away on holiday. So my books take them a little step closer. Although I have been away, I must admit. I did go to Croatia, but I got back before quarantine. And it was amazing, actually, because it was so much quieter than it would usually be. And it was just such a tonic to be somewhere where everybody wasn't talking about what all the time. It made me feel a lot better, actually. But it's quite weird, being on
very weird. Very weird. Helly, yours is quite a sort of high concept book. How did you come across that idea? How did you develop that as an idea?
God, it was just a conversation between friends and discussing like what reality show you would go on if you were forced to, and what would be the worst one. And then we started discussing like where would reality shows go next, like how bad can they get and how brutal can they get. Like I would never go on Naked Attraction because that would be my worst nightmare. Maybe I'd go on I'm a Celeb or something, I don't know. So we just got discussing that, that. And then I began thinking like so many reality shows about finding the one and finding a relationship and looking for love. And it kind of forced you to think that that's what you're supposed to be doing. And then I thought, well, what does a reality show where you lose love look like? So then the concept was born that you go on and you're dumped, and also that would be a pretty savage thing to happen to you in public. So that all those little thoughts started to sort of tie together in my head, and then The Shelf was born, the monster.
And is this your debut? Is this your first book?
Yes, yeah, it's my debut. Yeah.
How exciting! So how did you get into being published in the first place then?
I dipped my toe in and out of The Shelf for about a year, and then a week before my 35th birthday, I thought, like, I've given it so much, I'm just going to give it a proper go. So I looked up, literally Googled how to submit a book to literary agents, and I found out, you do that, and then I found out they usually take the first 3 chapters. So I took a week off work, and I really finessed the first 3 chapters of The Shelf. And I hadn't actually finished the manuscript totally yet before I submitted it, because I didn't want to waste my time, because I really expected them to be like, yeah, nah. But I sent it out, and I got 4 rejections and 2 interests, and one of them was my current literary agent now. So, and then she basically guided me through the whole thing, because I really don't know what I'm doing. It's all a mad journey.
Amazing. Isabelle, you worked at Heat magazine. Were you the
I
book
did
editor?
for a long old time. I was, yeah. I'd only been a books editor for about a year before I was published, actually. I'd always wanted to write books. And I think working in that environment, being really good at deadlines and actually writing for a living, or certainly being around a lot of writers, gave me some good sort of practices going forward. But I entered a short story competition and won. And that was what sort of set me on my path, really, because before then I hadn't written anything that I thought was good enough. So to have people in the industry turn around and say, actually, your writing's really good. Are you doing a novel? Can we see it, please? That was a massive boost for me. So I wrote my first novel, My Map of You, really quickly, sort of 9 months to a year. And I was lucky. I got the agent that I wanted, the first one that I approached. And like Helly said, everything just rolls from there. It's like being dropped into the middle of a twister, and it's just like, and everything goes crazy, and suddenly there's foreign territories, and you're like, I just thought my book might be in the works. Like it all goes a bit bonkers.
Your first book was very successful, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think it's Greece. I think people just love Greece. The whole Mamma Mia effect and the Durrells.
And
people can't get enough of it, can they? Yeah. I think I'm going to go back to Greece for my next book. Not the one I'm writing now, but the one after.
Right.
I think give the people what they want.
Always.
Yeah,
Laura,
always.
tell me what's your publishing story? How did you manage to pull it off?
Well, before I was doing fiction, I had 2 memoirs. I always knew I wanted to write fiction. I was very committed to it. I've never really had a proper job. I've certainly never developed a career outside of writing because I was always committed to making, come hell or high water, making writing my career. So I took 4 gap years when I left school, and I still maintain now stepping off the path that everybody else does gave me the courage to continue on that path, where I just really prioritized what I wanted to do. So eventually I went to university to study creative writing, and on the first day they said, if you think you're going to get published, get it out your head, you're not. And I am the daughter of Richard and Jane Williams, and so that was a bit of a red flag to a bull, really. Oh, you think I'm not going to get, but you watch this. So I set up a blog, I set up social media, I shared my writing for 10 years. I did odd jobs to pay the rent as I developed my craft and my skill. I was very committed to 800 words twice a week, put it out in the public domain. That built my confidence that people were responding to that. I always say I was an accidental memoirist, that I came of age as a writer when it was very fashionable to do that kind of like mining your personal life, that first person 20-something narrative.
So was it like a sort of blog, Laura? Was that what you did? A sort of 800-word blog?
Yes, but written in a very kind of journalistic style. It's amazing to me that Isabelle worked at Heat magazine, because at school in sixth form I was voted most likely to go and work at Heat magazine. But I just didn't think girls from Derby sort of got to do glamorous, amazing jobs like that. So I was very determined to I treated my blog not as we think of bloggers now, about like dresses and lipstick, and there's nothing wrong with that, but mine was 800 words, fully formed kind of like little journalistic insights. And yeah, I wrote on that blog that I was looking for an agent, and if the agents reading didn't understand why I was pitching publicly, then they weren't the one for me. And my agent Ella reached out to me and said, I'd love to know about this book that you're working on, this memoir. And from that I did another memoir. I got to know people in the industry. They knew I was interested in fiction, and I'd been working on The Love Square, but then was approached about another idea, which became my debut novel. And then I returned to this for my second one, but in the interim got signed for a 4-book deal, which just I've never heard of that before, but my publisher, I think, saw something in Our Stop, my first one, and said, you know, we think we can do something with you, so we'll give it a go. And yeah, here I am currently writing my 3rd one.